Driving a tractor, climbing a tree, you can find it all at Cotton Top 3. I've got a treat with me right here, right now. Y'all don't know this guy. A lot of y'all know who he is, but don't really know who he is or anything.
Yeah. That's because they probably remember when I had black hair. Had
Black hair and done age a little bit now,
right.
huh?
Yep.
This is actually, I've seen you several times. This is my first time to actually meet you in person. My dad has met you several times and stuff like that. But this guy right here is with Hatton-Brown Publishing. You're one of the co-owners, right?
That's correct.
And Hatton-Brown is Southern Loggin Times.
That's right.
If you're in the logging world, it's called Southern Loggin Times, but it doesn't matter. If you're in the logging world, whether you're here in the southeast, the south, or whatever, or you're out in California or Washington State or Oregon, people know who Southern Loggin Times is. And of course, y'all are one of the big sponsors here at the Mid-South Forestry Equipment Show. But this is Mr. DK Knight, and I call you the man with the plan. That's what Jordan, we talked about that a little bit. But we kind of got a little bit of a background, but fill everybody in. A lot of people probably don't. Have you ever been interviewed by anybody or sat down or anything like this before? Somebody talked to you?
Not exactly like this for broadcast or video, but we had a 500th issue in timber harvesting back in '03, and I was interviewed by one of our people to kind of give my history and that sort of thing as a column that he wrote. But let me back up and say too that it's not only Southern Loggin Times, it's also Timber Harvesting.
That's right. I was going to get into that.
Which is our national publication, and it actually is older than SLT. But yeah, so I've been there since March the 15th, 1968. It was a cloudy day. Yeah, so we've had a lot of good times, over the years, and we've got several magazines, 2 in logging and 2 for mill operations and lumber and plywood manufacturing, that sort of thing. And our latest magazine is Wood Bioenergy. And but it's been a lot of fun. And
you've had to. We talked about this just a little bit just a second ago. You've had to evolve some, haven't you?
We have, yes. Just as the industry has evolved, we've evolved right along with it.
And I've got a question at the end of this video that I'm going to ask you. I'm going to kind of put you on the spot a little bit, but that's the way I want it, and I want to see what your thoughts are on it. But briefly, give us the steps that, because it didn't start out as Southern Loggin Times. Give us the steps that got you to where it is right now.
Well, we felt like there was room for a more, a more informal type magazine that mixed up entertainment as well as information. And so we came up with the idea in the early 70s. The first issue was in October 1972. And so we wanted to keep it by design to the south because it's a unique region of the country, and we all know for many reasons. But so that's the way it started out on a newspaper. It was monthly at the time. The first issue probably had 12 pages in it, maybe even 8. I don't remember. But it was. But it took a while. It was. It took quite a while to grow it and to develop it. It was designed originally for dealers primarily. To advertise, because we were getting national advertising in what was then called pulpwood production and now timber harvesting. So we thought a regional magazine geared toward dealers and loggers would be a fit. And over time, it started out as Logging Times, and then in 1981 we changed it to Southern Loggin Times because the South was really fast becoming the wood basket of the country and now the world.
Yes.
So that was a good fit, and that's helped us. Excuse me. And we upgraded the paper and the printing process over time and went to a stitched publication and got away from newsprint. And so we could do a better job with 4-color process and all that. And so that's kind of where we are. And Southern Loggin Times now, in fact, a few years ago, it became as far as a publishing entity is concerned, from a revenue standpoint, of our magazine family, it produces the most revenue. It's the only regional magazine we have, the only tabloid magazine we have, but it produces the most money.
So it's your bread and butter of Hatton-Brown, is what it is.
It is certainly a vital component of it. Yes, indeed. And it has a certain mystique. We've never been able to figure out exactly what it is about SLT that's so popular and so it's such an attraction. But I don't know. It's a combination, I think, of entertainment and big pictures, big pages.
Pictures are big deals.
Yeah, and so I think a lot of things factor into it, and we try to. It's just a lot of fun, and it's been interesting to watch it evolve. Very few dealers advertise in the magazine anymore. It's become more of a manufacturer publication.
Sure.
We have some dealer advertising, but most of the dealer advertising is in the classified section now.
Right.
Yeah.
I can remember we've blogged forever, and I can remember back in the 80s, Dad getting the magazine and looking through it, being a kid, and just, looking through it and things like that and all the stuff that it had in there. But of course, now, this day and time, the digital, the internet, the social media stuff, which is YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff like that, which I know you're familiar with, and you've had to probably come up to speed on it really quick in the last 4 or 5 years, because that's where everything is going now.
That's correct.
And I know that's been a huge evolution for y'all too, to kind of, because that opens up a whole new can of worms. You got to have IT people who can do websites and stuff, and then make sure that when they click on it, it works, because I deal with a website. So a lot of people, they click on something, they just take for granted that it's going to take you over here to where it's supposed to. But when you're beginning that, it doesn't necessarily work like that. And then you've got a whole team. How many people do you have there working at Hatton-Brown?
We've got probably part-time and full-time, 25, 26. And along those lines, Jordan Anderson has really pushed us in the video,
y'all look,
social media world.
Let's look. Right there's Jordan. Jordan's filming us, and I'm filming him right there.
Like last time.
There we go.
But Jordan has pushed us. He's pushed and prodded us. We're old school.
Well, I shouldn't say he's a lot younger.
That's right.
He's younger than I am.
But he's really helped us, and still, Jordan's done a lot for us, and in many respects. And but not only Jordan, but we do our own website maintenance and all that sort of thing. We should do a better job. We need to do a better job of that. But everybody's had to come around. I mean, it's a big thing.
You're a huge part of the logging community. I mean, humongous. I mean, you look at a piece of pecan pie, and I mean, you're a big part of it, because you've been this hub for forever. I mean, since back 72. That's 46 years. I mean, that's when I was born, was 72. And you had the wherewithal back then and the foresight out there. Probably didn't know. You gambled a little bit. A lot of things that we do, gamble a little bit. But look at where it is now, and look at this show and the magnitude of it, and all the stuff, and the stuff that y'all do at Hatton-Brown and things like that. A lot of people never see it. It's like they handle all the registration for the show here. Everything comes through y'all.
Right.
And when you buy your tickets, you pre-register and all that stuff like that. So it's a big deal. And then you can look at Southern Logging Times online. You can see it there and see the stuff there. And then of course you can get the publication there, and which is always, as long as you're in the industry, you get it free.
That's correct.
If you're in the industry, you get the publication free, and that's always been a neat thing to me. That y'all send that out, because roughly how many issues do y'all print a month? When y'all print a month, how many issues do y'all probably print?
It's around between 12 and 13,000.
That's a lot. Yeah. That's a lot of going out right there. But I appreciate you taking the time to taught me, because when Jordan contacted me back in June and said, and the first thing I told him was, I said, look, I said, my stuff is all about variety and different things like that. You know, if I just filmed in my machine every day with it over my shoulder, people would get sick of that. I like to mix it up. And I said, I want to talk to DK. I said, I want to talk to DK. I said, if you can make that happen for me, make that. I'll do this with you if you'll make that happen for me. And he said, we'll do it. You know, and but. I keep saying you got something else you want to say right quick, or?
No, but regarding the show, you know, we're glad to be part of it, but we're just a part. You know, we do our part, and everybody else contributes collectively.
Right.
Mississippi State, Mississippi Loggers Association, Mississippi Forestry Association, and then excuse me, but you know, it's a real concerted effort. Just a focal point. My day has come and gone because I'm fading away, but we've got good people that've been with us a long time.
Right.
We've got people that've been with us 35 years, 30 years, 35 years, 20 years, and so they make it happen. I mean, we've got a good organization. I'm proud to say, and I'm proud of every one of them. And so I'm just, you know, I've kind of stepped back in the last couple of years, and so, you know, eventually I will not be part of that team, and I'll miss it. But but that's just the way it is. You know, it's been a good career.
All right, let me stop this. All right, so we're fixing to wind this thing up right here, and like I said, I appreciate you agreeing to meet with me to do this and everything, get you out in front of people, you know, and stuff like that. All right, so I've got one question for you. You're one of those big picture guys that can see things way out, and I can see that in you. What is your thoughts as far as these people like me that are coming through here, you know, to this show, attending it and stuff like that, that's driven a long way? What are your thoughts in 5 years for logging, or 10 years from logging? Where do you kind of see the broad scale of things, perhaps? This is tough, people, because I told him I was going to do this, and so you just take your time or whatever.
Well, it's hard to say. It's hard to forecast anything. You know?
Correct.
They say if you're going to do forecasting, you need to do it in a dark room with only one person, and that's you.
Yeah.
But I see logging following farming to a certain extent. Fewer logging companies, but larger logging companies operating to scale. Maybe we are already seeing that happening, and it's continuing. Multiple crews, dispatch trucking. You know, labor issues are paramount now, especially with trucking. And that's affecting not only logging, but just about the whole country. Everything that's freight, but it's already become much more professional than it used to be, and I'm proud that it's much more professional, that it's much safer than it ever has been. There's still a lot of things to improve on, but it's going to continue to be a challenge. It always has been. This is not for the faint of heart.
It's not that. It's not that. It's not like it was back in the 90s, early 90s. Boy, it boomed.
And I've never been a logger or owned a logging business, but I sure have a lot of respect and admiration for those who have the perseverance and the desire and the stamina to get up every day and face a world of uncertainty.
Sure.
But so it's hard to say. This industry has always changed. Now we're looking at, I think we'll see more processors probably being used because sawmills are really pushing that right now. Yes. I think they'll continue to do that. I think we're in a real glut of pulpwood, especially in the South. That's going to be I think that's going to probably kick prices down. That's not going to be good for the landowner. I don't know. Pellets, I'm not real sure what the future of pellets is. That's still question mark.
Everything's real crazy right now, isn't it? I mean, we're in an era of uncertainty, basically, in in the harvesting side of things. You know, it's and it's just kind of almost a day-to-day thing. You know, now a week-to-week thing. You know.
Well, overall, right now, it's quite good, especially for the manufacturing sector.
Yes.
I mean, they're record profits, and that's great. You know, there's a lot of angst out there, though, among loggers about, okay, if it's just good for the consumers, would you not be a little more generous to us and help us a bit?
Right,
right.
right.
But you know, like I say, a lot of things have changed over time, and some things
Sure.
haven't changed. And
Well, you did very well answering that. I liked how you answered that. I know that was wrong of me to put you on the spot, but I didn't really want you to have just a tremendous amount of time to kind of get you, because sometimes the best stuff comes just right off the cuff and things like that, and the worst not playing it. You know?
one thing I will say is I've been surprised since the recession that there's been that many new loggers get into the business.
Yes.
And then those who were in the business seem to have expanded.
Right.
And so going forward, I don't think there will be an issue of logging capacity anytime soon.
Right.
A lot of people were worried about that in 2010.
Right.
And you know, everybody was concerned about what's going to happen because a lot of loggers got out of it and because of the economic crunch. But I've been encouraged that so many young people have gotten into it and have expanded after being in it only a short time. Now, whether that's good or not so good, I can't say, but it's a fact. And but I think our choking point's going to be trucking.
Yes.
That's and labor overall. You know, because all industries pretty much are having labor issues. And I think one thing that's driving processors to some extent may be the fact that the mills can't find the personnel they need to make those bucking and solutions.
Sure.
So if they can get a better log coming in, it might take a little pressure off the type of labor they can attract now inside the mill. That may or may not be true, but I heard one person mention that the other day.
Because what you said a while ago, thinking about a logger shortage or whatever, you're right. It's not, because the equipment has evolved so much. If they were to turn all of us loose of what we could run at our full capacity, it would be mind-boggling with the equipment that we have now and what we can potentially do with it. But the biggest thing right now faced with us is two things: the labor overall in the woods, and then the labor in the trucking side of it. The trucking side is just I don't think nobody saw the trucking thing coming. I don't know where it come from and how it got to where it got so quick, but between the insurance and all that stuff and the expense of it, the trucking has been really, really difficult for all of us. But I appreciate your thoughts. We'll wind this up and everything. Jordan, I appreciate you making this happen for me and everything. And I know you're a busy guy and taking the time out, and so I'm gonna take my people I got with me, and I'm gonna throw this camera up and take my little camera, and I'm gonna walk around and film and stuff like that. But man, I appreciate it.
You're welcome, man. Yeah,
appreciate it.
Always enjoy seeing your dad. He'll go to a show now.
My dad likes to travel to the shows. Now you ought to see him in Arkansas out there. He went to Canada 2 years ago up there to the expo up there, man. All right, look.
Well, I appreciate what you're doing to promote logging to a broad audience, so that they can see what happens.
Sure. Yes. Because there's a lot of people. I capture people from a broad scale, and I try to show them how we do it, why we do it, the BMP work, that we do to protect the environment. Basically, is what that means, and the lengths that we go to do that. And then logging is still the most dangerous blue collar job in the United States. It's the most dangerous, but it can be done very safely. Very safely, and I try to show that in my videos of how we do it. But like I said, what you've done getting us all the way to this point in the logging world with Hatton-Brown Southern Logging Times, Timber Harvesting, all that stuff, all the other entities that you've had throughout the years. You know, you've tried things, different things like that. You know, and just I think a lot of other loggers would like to tell you thank you too. You know, and they don't even know who you are. You know, and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a cool deal. I never would have thought when I started putting videos on YouTube that it would get to where it is now, and the reach of what I have the potential 800, 900,000 views every 28 days is mind-boggling. I have an outreach that is in not only that, but then through my Instagram and all that stuff like that. You know, I mean, it's crazy. And when I end all my videos, I always end them with later taters. Is what I do. And so you've got to do the later taters for me and everything when we end these videos. Jordan's over there, he's cracking up. So we're gonna let you do the later taters and put a little bit of gusto to it too. Jordan did a good job. Don't let Jordan outdo you. He's a young chick over there and everything. We got to do it. So, but right. I appreciate you, Mr. DK.
Right.
So
yes,
we're gonna do later taters. So, all right,
ready?
Right, 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
No, I'm gonna you do it.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, I want
Okay.
you to do it. All right, we're going. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Later taters.
All right.